Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Money Mondays. I'm Belinda Ray, the Director of Strategic Partnerships here at GPCOG. And
I'm Paul Johnson, the Director of Economic and Community Development at GPCOG, and this is Walter. Say hi, Walter. The background doesn't work very well for guest
I
appearances.
know, yeah, well, advancements in AI eventually will.
Yeah.
It'll all merge together. We'll be able to pick up that money one day here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. We are here to offer you opportunities, funding resources in the region. And we are going to start today with Paul. So I'm going to share my screen and off we go.
Awesome. Thanks, Belinda. So today I want to show you a resource guide that was produced. It's back in 2019, I think. So it's slightly dated, but not really. One of the common things we hear with entrepreneurs and business owners is there's so many resources in Maine and they're confusing and they're difficult to navigate. Well, I am here just to remind everybody, or probably for the first time, because I just stumbled upon it a couple days ago is there is a pretty easy to use guide for resources for Maine entrepreneurs. And I've linked it at the end of my slides, but it is very, as you'll see as the table of contents coming up right now, look at all those things that are listed in this resource guide. And if you look on the page, the last page there on number 22, whoops, was the Greater Portland Council of Governments. Oh, there we are again. There, page 22, Greater Portland Council of Governments. There we are. Yay. But if you'll do a quick glance at all these resources, you'll see that I've gone over some of these on Money Mondays. Some of them I haven't. There's a little dollar sign next to them if they're a funding source. But it's a great little guide. If you want to, if you're ever like, hey, where is this? Why isn't this all in one place? Here's the latest attempt to put it all in one place. And I believe they are updating it, but it's still worth a read or at least a printout to have at your desk. And as always, I have linked directly to the PDF. So if you would like to get it, when the email comes out, you can fire this presentation up and click right on the link. And if it doesn't work, just email me and I'll email it to you directly.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. And I'm going to talk about Project Canopy grants today. I had teased this back in January because they usually open in February, but it was much delayed this year. There's been a lot of volatility with funding at various levels, but it's out. It is finally out, and applications are due by October 30th at midnight, or, a minute before midnight. Midnight is too late because that's October 31st. There are 3 buckets of this grant. There are 3 different grants you could apply to. So we're going to take them one at a time. First one is the Project Canopy Assistance Planning and Education Grant. So this one is really about supporting sustainable community forestry and also educating people and really increasing awareness of the benefits of tree canopy and forests. So the things you can do with this are really planning projects. So like taking an inventory of your street trees, maybe make a map of where all your street trees are so your residents can see that. Planning for the long term to develop more tree canopy. A tree board, some towns do have a board that's in charge of their trees, so you could use funding to develop your tree board. You could create an ordinance. You can plan for forest management if you have some forest areas within your realm. Forest pest response plans. And that last bullet, so it's planning money, but there is money you can use if you're doing plantings for demonstration and research projects only. So it's not like expand your canopy, it's not put in bioswales over here. It's if you want to demo something and see if it works and do some research about what's going to grow where. Those plantings you could have money for. So for this one, there's 125,000 available total across the state. The grant amounts are up to 20,000 and it's a 50-50 cost share, but that can be in kind or cash. And like I said, eligible expenses are essential supplies, contractor fees, Purchase and planting of trees only for the research and demo projects. And important to note, salaries are not an eligible expense. So you're probably going to need some staff time to do these things. That staff time can count towards your in-kind, but you can't get it reimbursed. If you were to get this grant, the period of performance is February 1st, 2026 through September 30th, 2027. So that's, I don't know, 18 months or so. The next bucket, grant number 2, is the Project Canopy planting and maintenance. So this is the one to help expand your tree canopy. You can do different kinds of plantings. You can do like high visibility, contiguous plantings that are going to really benefit the community with shade and water filtration. You can do something in a business district to really beautify and also add some health benefits to the business districts. Buffer plantings, replacement trees. So if you have some trees, tree wells that are empty, areas that are empty, and you need to replace those trees, or community tree nurseries. So this is where you would grow saplings. That's what you call young trees, right? So you could grow them so that they would be ready for planting for the community. Also green infrastructure. And for this one, again, there's 125K available across the state. The grants are up to 15,000, 50-50 cost share again. Again, salaries are not an eligible expense, but the planting of trees, the purchase for and planting of trees, and the maintenance of the trees during the grant period, site prep and soil amendments, those are all acceptable expenses. Now this one's a little different. It goes from February 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. So that's 15 months, maybe. My math's not right. You'll figure it out. And number 3 is the Inflation Reduction Act and Urban Community Forestry Grant. So this one is a yes and grant. It will allow you to do anything in those first 2 grants and initiatives to utilize urban wood, urban food forests, or community orchards. That's where you plant the trees and anyone can pick the fruit from the trees, those kinds of things. Workforce development related to forestry, heat mitigation and climate resiliency through tree planting. Again, community tree nursery establishment, and anything really that's going to increase your capacity to care for and manage the community trees. Now, this one's a bigger one, but there's an eligibility area, and you have to be in an eligibility area. And we don't have a lot of areas in our region that are in that. Parts of Harrison, Westbrook, Portland, and South Portland, you can see on this map, are eligible. And then if we move a little south, you can see that that Old Orchard Beach and Biddeford are also eligible there. So it has to be in one of those areas for this last grant, but it's a big one. It's up to 200,000. There's 700,000 available across the state. There is no cost share for this one. And for this one, salaries, fringe, overhead, those are all acceptable. So you can pay staff with this grant. And this one runs the longest. This one's so close to 2 years. That would be 23 months. February 1st, 2026 through December 30th, 2027. So again, eligibility here, municipalities, nonprofits, educational institutions, tribal organizations. You have to have a SAM registration. I'm sure most of you do, but if you don't, you can go to this link and get one. And you should do this. You should just do this so that you're eligible to apply for these grants, federal grants, all the grants. Basic features here. Again, it varies by grant. We've got a 15K, a 20K, and a 200K max. 50% cost share for those first 2. No cost share for the one where you have to be in the eligibility area. Performance period also varies by grant. Eligible costs, only the last one for the people in the specific eligibility areas will pay for staff time. But for the other ones, just keep in mind that you can use that staff time toward your 50% cost share match. The difficulty here is a 3. These applications are straightforward. There is no crazy language where you have to read a sentence 8 times to figure out what it said. There's a brief fillable application that you do, and then you have to construct a narrative, but it's a maximum 3-page narrative. And then there are just a few other things you have to put in, and it's very clearly outlined in the application for each grant. They each have a separate application. Deadline for all of them is October 30th, and you would submit through an email. So you will save all your forms as a PDF and combine them most likely into one, although you might have some attachments. And this is an annual opportunity. So like I said, it usually opens in February. This time around, it's opening here. It might come in February next year, but it's one to be ready for. So I have the grant webpage. There is a workshop that they highly, highly recommend you attend. It was required in previous years and it was live in various places. And you had to attend in order to apply. This time it's recorded and they're recommending. There are 3 different applications. You can see them all right there. Check that eligibility map, because in those towns I mentioned, it's not the whole town or city, it's often pieces. And if you have questions, Jan Ames Santerre is your person to go to. So then I did want to highlight also, there is a webinar coming up that seemed interesting, and it is about green infrastructure for small systems. It's about exploring real world examples, which means they will have people who've done it in small communities on this webinar. It's on the 18th, and it's really focused on small rural communities. How can you use green infrastructure? Because we often think about that as, yeah, it's a nice thing, but we don't have the money for it. But these folks have done it, and they will share with you what their programs look like and how it has worked. So that's what I have for you today. We will stop the share. And 9:12, we're doing well, Paul.
We are.
Yeah, my tea bags are really letting me down here. This one is gratitude leads to love, which is beautiful, but again, doesn't really excite me for the week.
And here, just because the screen was blocking him out, there is everybody's Walter sighting for this morning.
Yay, Walter. How is Walter doing?
He keeps grunting at me because I keep waking him up to show him on camera. So, but he'll get over it.
Well, celebrity is a burden.
Yep. Yep.
All right, we will see you all next week. Have a fabulous week and enjoy your Monday with
Thanks,
some
everybody.
money. Bye.